New York Times, Rolling Stone, and critics everywhere are all raving about Annihilation.
It's not destroying, it's making something new.
It's a mind-blowing experience, and now it's certified fresh on Rotten Tomatoes. Annihilation, rated R, now playing.
This is a bad movie.
I had to be partners with a teacher. Because I was so popular.
So,
I got a lunch table all to myself. The other kids were intimidated, right, Mom? I've always been this way.
so
There wasn't always a podcast.
God awful movie.
welcome back to the GAMcast, where each week we sample another selection from Christian cinema because sometimes, but not always, it means getting to see Eric Estrada in his underwear. I'm your host, Noah Lugeons. Oh yeah, we had a good one this week. I'm your host, Noah Lugeons. We're coming to you live from a sold-out crowd at the Madison Square Garden. I appreciate you guys sounding like so many people right there. Well done. Well done. It's audio. They have no fucking idea. They don't know. All right. Actually, we're at the beautiful People's Improv Theater. We want to thank everybody at People's Improv Theater for taking such good care of us tonight. And with that out of the way, joining me, ladies and gentlemen, from stage left, please welcome my good friend, Heath Enwright. You realize that there's already a drink for is 2-drink minimum there at a time. And of course, also joining me from stage left, please welcome my bad friend Eli Bosnick.
T-shirt! Who wants a t-shirt? T-shirt! Yeah!
No. We discussed this.
No, t-shirt,
No,
t-shirt.
we clearly said.
Show them. Show them. Now just hand someone the t-shirt.
Dumbbell! Who wants a dumbbell? Who wants it? That's a bad idea. You shouldn't have raised your hand. That's how people die. That's what killed Adam West. Too soon? He was 88.
No, it's
He
all
wasn't
right.
at an Ariana Grande concert. Relax. There was an explosion. You should know.
Yes. No, you're just fine. You're just fine, Eli. By the time this comes out, it'll be Tuesday. That'll be old news. Everybody will be good. All right. Now, I want to clear this up front for legal reasons. Did you bring with you today any invisible wards?
I did not.
Okay.
I did not. There are
All
no babies.
All right, awesome.
No space work babies.
Apparently, I brought an invisible social worker for no reason at all. All right, so now that we got that cleared up, tell us, Heath, what will we be breaking down today?
Yeah, we watched The Cross and the Switchblade. It's the story of how Pat Boone ended all the crime in New York City in 1958. It's been none ever since.
Wow.
Using Christianity.
Wow!
Yeah. Or what I like to call, I Took Up the White Man's Burden, You're Welcome, the movie.
That's more like it. And Eli, how bad was this movie?
Well, if you feel like all West Side Story missed was an awkward white guy asking to get stabbed, you will love this movie.
Well, now we should point this out too. Heath, tell me, how true was this movie?
Great question, Noah. You mean like racially? Like in terms of
Let's
how
get
it
into it,
represented the different
finally.
races? Because, like, I mean, in terms of, like, we have where's Andrew Torres? He's a Latino.
Did you bring your Switchblade, Andrew?
On a scale from 1 to fire sauce, how true was this movie for your childhood? That's a sauce they offer at
feel
Taco
like-
He said
Bell.
sauce. He said sauce.
10 being the best.
I feel like, just as a general rule, it's safe to assume I never meant in terms of race.
All right, well,
So-
put it on the board then if you want it to be a rule.
So
They
yeah,
have
so
a board.
apparently this movie is the true story of David Wilkerson and how he was so badass that all the gangs in New York took him in and made him their king. And according to Wikipedia, this movie has been seen by 50 million people. It has been translated into 30 languages. It has been seen in 150 countries. So I guess the logical question now is, where does that put it in terms of worst global pandemics?
It's like better than rats in Europe, but worse than the Macarena.
It's also where I had it.
I was going to say, like, right after the Republican Party, like wherever that is. The grand old plague. GOP.
I don't like to get political on this show. It's weird, off-putting.
This show has gotten so fucking political.
I just want to enjoy some laughs for once. Is that okay? Can we just leave it all at the door tonight? We're all on the same side, really.
And is there anything you guys want to nominate this for being the best and being the worst at?
I'm going to say best worst, white people trying to name black people.
Oh my God.
This,
And think about
And there was a time in history when white people actually named black people. You're Brian now. Alan.
Toby.
But this is worse.
The first two black people we meet in this movie are named Little Bo Peep
Yep.
and Bottle Cap.
Look, I'll buy that Little Bo Peep was an artistic choice, and I use that term very generously, but there's no way Bottle Cap wasn't a look around the table moment, just like, and then her brother, Bottle Cap. Is this like the character you wanted to call Typewriter? No, it's just... No. Typewriter, because he punches so fast. Okay, so I actually wrote down, for my best worst, I actually wrote down something that I have since become very upset to learn is not inaccurate. I wrote down best worst fake gang names, but after speaking to Noah, these are not fake gang names.
No.
There was a gang called the Mau Maus. If I got murdered by a Mau Mau, I would refuse to go into the afterlife. They would be like, here you go, there's heaven with the blowjob robots. And I'd be like, no, I got killed by a guy who calls himself Mau Mau. I'm going to stay here until a Steven comes along to stab me again, and then I will pass forward. I just can't. I only get one, and I can't be a Mau Mau victim. Like, the people legitimately ran in their lives, and they were like, oh my God, here come the Mau Maus! Like, then they were afraid. I can't deal with it.
All right, so I actually had two nominees for best worst. But my first was best worst omission of yakety sax during the fight scenes. Now, there are like 3 different times in this movie where they have these big gang rumbles. And if you just imagine, everything makes perfect sense. Because like the people constantly, they'll stop and just air fight with one of the guys that's near them or
Heath,
something.
will you reenact a gang fight with me for a second?
gang
Oh,
fight?
please, by all means.
What you're hearing now is the audience's jubilant reaction to Eli and Heath's brilliant physical comedy. Are they rolling on the floor together? Is mimed gay sex involved? Is unmimed gay sex involved? You don't know because you weren't there, but there's still time to catch us live in Seattle on July 8th, so check the show notes for details and find out once and for all who fucked who.
This. Okay, this is now about the penguin pants. This is no longer a reenactment. I know what's going on here.
That's the most exercise we've done all year.
That was not smart.
Oh my God.
I shouldn't have gone all the way to the front and then back.
Yeah, that's okay, guys.
This is what CrossFit is like.
It's all right. It made for some great radio, though. That's the important thing.
Should have come. Sorry, man, can't get off work in Jersey. Oh, I'm sorry, I rented a theater. No big deal.
It's a long ways. So it's almost as far as I came to
Gotta
be
get
here.
on the PATH train.
All right, well, I guess if this movie taught us anything, is that crowds in New York carry machetes everywhere they go. So we promise we're going to keep this break brief, and when we come back, we will... I'm sorry, I borrowed a little slang from this movie. We will slap daddle our gringles to the flipped out bow wow mutton that is the cross and the switchblade.
All right, guys, I think I found us a writer. But before I bring him in, you have to put these on.
What the hell are these?
I can't see anything with these on.
No, yeah, I know, but he had a doctor's note. Apparently he's so Caucasian, it's actually dangerous to stare directly into him. All right, cool. So, Don, come on in.
Wow! Jesus.
Hello there, fellows.
Don, great. Thanks for coming in for the interview. I want to let you know in advance that we really like your work. So this interview, it's something of a formality. It's not a big deal.
So tell us, Don, why do you want to write Christian movies?
Well, brother, it's either this or sneak into Mormons' houses and give out revelations.
I see. Now, this story takes place on the mean streets of New York City, so what we're looking for is someone who really knows urban lingo.
Well, it turns out that I am supremely qualified. You'll be happy to know that some of my best friends are black.
Excellent.
I don't have any of those.
Great for this.
Okay, so just a quick rundown, just to test your qualifications. What does jive mean?
It's an herbal beverage.
Oh, is that
Makes so
what it
much
means?
sense.
Okay, other one, bonus. What does it mean to be funky?
Of or relating to bees.
Wow.
Oh,
never
geez.
would have guessed that.
That makes sense now when I
Bees.
think about it. Bees,
Right,
obviously.
bees, yeah.
Okay, obviously, you know way more about this than any of us. Just one last one. What does jitterbugging mean?
It can actually be substituted for any verb.
Amazing.
It's
That's
all right,
Smurfs.
you are hired, my friend. You are hired.
It's going to be so useful.
Excellent. One quick question. What kinds of things are black people called?
No idea.
Doesn't matter. Do they have names?
Do we have to address them directly?
Are we sure?
And we're back for the breakdown live from New York City. And we're going to start this movie off with a long and storied religious tradition of saying, I know this is going to seem like bullshit, but it's not. It's not.
It's not. It's totally true.
Totally true thing. And they actually have this whole, this was based on a true story. This happened on the hard streets of New York City.
Of Chelsea.
Yeah, that's right.
It shows the 59th Street Bridge.
It does.
It happens in Harlem. It shows the 59th Street Bridge.
You are 4 blocks away from Broken Glass Alley, where 9/10 of this movie takes place. It's a Starbucks now.
Yeah, right.
Just a Mau Mau working behind the counter. You need to order soy. You can't pretend that you ordered it here, sir. You need to go back. And it's 40 cents more. I'm a Mau Mau. Mau.
I love that that's just your random experience at Starbucks that you just pulled out right
That's
there.
what happens at a Starbucks.
So-
and I snap at them. Excuse me? They love it. I use nicknames a lot, first names. Nicole. Hi, Nicole. Nicole. I drink a lot of spit, is what I'm saying. I drink a lot of spit. Not all of it on purpose. So we focus on a switchblade.
Yeah. Yep.
And they all go to kill some random guy. He looks like Peter Lorre. We never find out why they're killing this gentleman.
Also, by the way, did you guys know that the noise a switchblade used to make in the 50s anyway was a slide whistle? That was a slide whistle.
Yes,
That was
yeah.
when you would open a switchblade.
That would be even worse. You get killed by a Mau Mau and the last
And it was a
noise
slide
you
whistle.
hear. No, I'm sorry. I gotta wait and hear something. This is too much.
So the whole movie starts off with this gang chasing some just random guy through the park, and they eventually catch him all Daniel LaRusso style. And then they set upon beating him, the 15 of them, but they all stand on the same side of him, like all on the foot side.
They really work the calves.
And each other's faces. It's like 15 people trying to beat a guy with chains flying. They're all hitting each other.
It is a slightly more aggressive prayer circle.
So they beat up this guy, and then they all run off. And apparently in this gang, what they have is they got a chick whose job it is to walk around and gather up the weapons after the beatings. So we get to meet Weapon Girl.
Weapon lady. She's just like, weapons, gentlemen. Frank, weapons. It's fucking amazing. But one guy
Drops his fucking nunchucks.
drops his nunchucks.
Nunchucks!
Drops his Mau nunchucks. And the cop sees him, and it's like freeze tag. The cop's like, oh, you drop it on the ground, it's mine now, or you're in jail.
Yeah. Oh, apparently, yeah, he couldn't run at that point. So now we cut straight from there to those same kids in court. Don't worry about these kids. We will never see them again.
Nope, won't ever matter.
I feel like this scene is more about the lawyers than the defendants, though.
So these lawyers instantly get into a fist fight. Instantly, he's like, so tell my client what happened right after. You motherfucker! I will stab you in the heart! So my question is, Andrew, we have Andrew here. He's our legal counsel. Andrew, how often, I just need to lean over my mom and her fiance and my 14-year-old sister. I just need to lean over him to make this joke. How often in your, that's a true story. Andrew, how often in your experience during a court trial do you need to stab a bitch?
Not often.
So you're saying it happens. Commentary retracted.
I told you, it's a true fucking story.
Just Andrew at Covington and Burling. Don't look at me in the eye. See something beautiful.
So
That's a Book of Five Rings reference. Thank you for getting that. Got some samurai in the audience tonight. How weird would it be if a samurai just got up and stormed out, just like, no,
damn it.
There are lines. Ching, chong, ching, ching, ching.
You're misreading that passage. It's not what it's about. It doesn't say to kill all the Jews. It's like the Quran. It's not.
Totally, yeah, I get it. So the lawyers are about to have a slap fight when who should burst in?
I think it's Tom Brady.
Yeah, like, sure looks like it, but Pat Boone.
Yeah.
And we're gonna learn that he's bursting in to like proselytize for no reason. Like he just wanted to come in. Like his idea was like, Jesus. That was his plan. But he's very much acting like he's gonna murder. He's like walks in with a knife and he's like, "We'll cut some bread to celebrate the Jesus we all believe in now." So he gets stopped by the police, and he seems entirely surprised.
Yeah, well, he was not hurting anyone. Seemed pretty obvious to me, but the cops drag him out of the courtroom, and they pat him down. They find his Bible, and they're like, "Check it, it's probably got a gun in it." Okay. They also find his preacher license or what?
His ordination papers.
Oh, okay. Yeah, they carry those around with them.
And they're giant, too. They're like a king delivering a message-sized scroll. This guy plays pretend.
I love this moment, too, because apparently all the reporters are super excited because nothing's happening. So they're really excited about this preacher bursting in. And all the photographers gather around to take a picture of him. They're like, hold up your Bible, hold up your Bible. Okay, now it's a tiger. It's a sexy Bible. It's a sexy Bible.
You're a sexy religious zealot. Show me sexy. Show me sexy. Show me scared. Show me scared. Pat Boone just slowly unbuttons.
But this is very important, though. This is a very important plot point because he will now be front page news everywhere in New York because, of the walking into the room that he did. And through the rest of the movie, everyone that meets him is going to be, "You're that badass preacher that walked into the courtroom and tried to help those kids."
Everyone in the greater Manhattan area.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. They all saw that shit. So we see that in the newspapers, and then we cut to Pat Boone, who apparently is sleeping in his car, which seems bad unless you've actually had an apartment in Manhattan.
It's a 50s car is way more spacious
than
where I live. I was just like, oh, woo. Not pooping where I sleep? All right, who's the queen? And we should point out that as we're getting the intro, the music in this scene is me and Heath improvising Hats Off to Botswana at gunpoint. It's like, hats off to Botswana. When I'm gone.
The music. The music.
Pitch perfect. So you don't get my pitch perfect references?
If you guys were here yesterday when we were doing the tech check, you'd totally get that joke.
I am always podcasting.
We set that up 24 hours ago. You should have been here.
But he is being robbed by the Little Rascals.
I was going to say the Fat Albert Gang, but yes.
Yeah. But like at age 3.
Well, yeah, right. The Rugrats.
Yeah.
Let's go with the Rugrats.
Dickensian infants are stealing the car. And the car, I don't know how cars were made when Noah was a mere 45-year-old man, but the car comes apart at the lightest touch. At one point, they just remove the hood. 5-year-olds are just like, pfft.
Yeah, no tools. No tools are involved in any of this.
The car just falls apart. Honestly, if your hubcaps come off that easily, you didn't deserve hubcaps.
No. He had a snap-on car, apparently. So these kids realize that there's a guy asleep in there. So the one kid walks up to the boss kid. This is, by the way, Bottle Cap walking up to Bo Peep.
Stay current.
Somebody wrote that down and just went, okay, my work here is done. I have finished my writing. So yeah, he walks up to Bo Peep and he says, there's a dude in the car, what should we do? So she gives him this really detailed mugging instructions, which is stab him and I'll take his wallet. I believe it was something along those lines.
That is how you mug somebody, right?
Well, no, it is. But the Rapists and Vultures of Horror could have used her help, I'll be honest with you. Wouldn't have been any high fives off to the back or anything.
Let's just point out, I guess he mishears her because what he hears is karate demonstration. This is what this looks like. This is what this looks like.
Yeah, no, I'll be Karate Man. I'm gonna be Bottle Cap. That is what I'm saying. Is we needed a little more in the way of instruction for that mugging.
I have no doubt they did realistic fight choreography the first time, and Pat Boone got stabbed in the heart. He was like, yeah, and Pat, you take the knife away. And Pat was like, absolutely. So we'll shoot again in 6 months while they take this out of me. Everyone's first day back. They're like, Pat, how you feeling? Pretty good. All right, let's shoot the scene. All right. 6 more months.
So he ninja fights a very young kid and wins. He's pretty badass. And this is when they start to recognize him from the newspapers. This is the first of like 8,000 people that will say at some point in this movie, hey, you're the guy from the front page of the newspaper on Tuesday. All of us now know you. And so she decides that she loves them. He's awesome. He's got mad street cred. So she orders all the other kids to put his car back together.
And they do. They do. I mean, it looks like Heath's car, but they do manage. They're just like,
they start singing the Lollipop Guild song and
just like stickers. They just, and it's a car again. It's all put together and they're like, there you go, like a speed team. Just,
yeah, right, exactly. So he says, now he is there apparently because he's been sent by his church in Pennsylvania to go solve all the crime in New York. Which is, by the way, what Heath and I are going to do when we're done tonight. We were inspired by this film. But... Duh.
How else are you going to do it?
But she's so impressed with his chord interruption skills that she volunteers to go introduce him to all of the baddest ass gangs in New York. Like little girls often do.
Yeah, she's got a real hookup to all of the gangs in New York. And he just goes with her, too. He's just like, all right, so we're going to all the gangs. And she's like, yeah, I tried to stab you like 30 seconds ago. Why would you not trust me entirely?
Why wouldn't you want to walk down a dark alley with me? But first, by the way, he has to give away his shoes to Bottle Cap.
Right, because Bottle Cap lusts after his shoes in this movie. There is shoe porn in this movie. He's just like making wingtips. And he gives him the shoes, and immediately Bottle Cap's like, I don't want your shoes.
I love to. Okay, so right at the end of this, the little girl says to the guy, she's like, all right, well, I'll take you to these badass gangs, but don't you be telling them about no Jesus or they'll stab you. And I'm like, that is exactly what Eli says before he takes people to my place. So, but except she can't quite pull it off.
No, it's the worst version. Everything in this movie is like, I'm a jive-ass conky and I'm going to monkey, right? But except for this scene. Thank you. Thank you. The Church of Lies rap album comes out next year, and we would really appreciate your support. No, but everyone speaks very well, except for this one thing where she's like, oh man, don't talk to him about Jesus, or they'll stab you so full of holes that you could water the lawn of where you're from, assuming someone filled you with water.
You would have to turn.
Using different holes.
You would probably have to like turn and then come back real fast and then turn.
Like a sprinkler.
And then come back. Like that.
You would have to maintain the water while you traveled to the place. But then once, I'll come and introduce you to a prostitute in an alleyway. Just come on. Just fell apart.
So now they go to the badass part of New York, which is, by the way, Eli's neighborhood. That's where they go.
Like the guy who works at my bodega was like, hello, I am immortal. And I was like, hey, Chin.
You've always been there, huh? So they walk down a series of alleys. Again, this man has just wandered down a series of alleys with a young girl that tried to mug him minutes ago. But he goes ahead and heads down this alley with her, and this is where we meet the lookout girl.
Oh, baby Liza Minnelli.
Baby Liza Minnelli, yeah, exactly. And she is... Because you know how if you have a badass gang, you have to put somebody pretty badass out front so people know...
Well, you don't just put a person, you put like a ninja warrior obstacle course.
Well,
actually.
that is...
There's this alleyway. All of Harlem was apparently a ninja warrior obstacle course.
Yes, yeah.
Until the Clintons put their base of operations there, it was just one long alleyway that curved around itself, filled with broken glass. That's all it was.
That's basically what we see, yeah. So the little girl there, there's literally like an 11-year-old girl is their lookout, and she's like, no, you can't go through, and like, what are you gonna fucking do?
She behaves the way I behave with my wife's friends because she recognizes them from the paper. She's like, oh my God, how are you? And Bo Peep's like, you've never met before, and I'm like, right? How are you? Crazy.
It's
you don't all look
been
the same
forever. So, and also, by the way, this girl could not more clearly want to fuck Pat Boone. Like, she basically just throws it out there. She's like, hey, also, if you want to fuck, we're in an alley anyway.
It seems like the time.
You're a preacher, I'm underage. This is kind of I look like natural.
Kind of fits the pattern. And then Bo Peep pulls him aside, and she says... because she's like, give me $5, I'll show you in the gang. She's like, just so you know, $5 gets you 2 marijuana cigarettes, her body, and 2 bits change. Those were the days, folks. Do you have any idea how much I PayPal Andy Wilson a month? It's crazy.
Andrew
Inflation.
does. At least one of us knows. At least one of them knows, yeah. So, yeah, right. Apparently, God damn it, where's this alley? But, yeah, apparently, he talks her down to $2. So she takes him to Mau Mau headquarters.
And they go inside they do a tour of this crack house does a tour. It's a thing that they do.
You get a tour of the crack house.
Yep.
It's a cruise. And first in the crack house, by the way, is just a heroin lady, just enjoying heroin, just... heroin. Just inside the door.
That's the first 2 lines of defense. It's a prostitute and then that girl.
That's
how they.
Which, to be fair, if I was going to rob another gang and I was like, poof, and there was like Liza Minnelli, and then it was just someone enjoying a Scooby snack, just I'd be like, all right, I don't want to fight this gang.
I want to see like a pre-shift meeting at this crack house.
Right?
Like, all right, Liza Minnelli, you're out front doing prostitute tour.
I need cover this week.
We said you couldn't switch. You have to do it ahead of time.
I logged into
There's a website, and you have to do it 24
I don't remember
hours.
my password.
You're not trained on the
I'm not doing any of my side heroin work.
Roll them.
I'm doing roll-ups. This is roll-ups. This is something poor waiters do. They roll napkins around themselves.
So, yeah.
For you to enjoy.
Sometimes there's silverware inside of them and everything. Yeah, so... So they go inside the drug den, or Pat Boone does, along with his chick, and of course, all of them are like, hey, you're the guy from the newspaper on the front page, and therefore we like you a lot.
What, are you just taking the tour? Yeah, I'm just taking the tour.
We're just... Hey, are you the guy
normal.
that... And also, by the way, this bothered me so much. One of the gangs was called the Egyptian Kings. Fucking pharaohs. They don't have fucking kings. What the hell? That bothered me so inordinately through this whole fucking movie. But anyway, so...
That's what was wrong with the movie.
That really, if it hadn't...
We got
They didn't
pedantic
name the
Boone
guy
over
well.
here.
No, that was the problem.
So, the guy in the hat, I guess he's the main hero. He's the leader. He's the heroine.
He's the shift manager.
Oh, okay.
He's like, 1, 2, 3, heroin! No, 1, 2, 3.
Heroin!
How many times?
Heroin!
Every time. It's
No, I would
on,
just really like
we
some
would
heroin.
go 1, 2.
Heroin.
Oh my God. Every day.
Heroin.
Every day.
This is
Heroin.
exactly like trying to do the timing counts before a record. I gotta tell you. So the guy tries to give Pat Boone a joint, but he's preacher, so he's not gonna smoke weed. But the little girl is cool with smoking some of it.
She loves it. She grabs it and she smokes it, and her brother's like, why are you smoking marijuana? And she goes, it makes me feel sexy. What? Now, ladies and gentlemen, the stage collectively has absorbed a tremendous amount of marijuana. Never in order to feel sexy.
So, you know what's sexy? What's sexy is this.
I mean,
See?
yeah.
See, I'm on marijuana right now, and they found it sexy. Fucking green room, that's what they call it. And now it's time for us to meet. I have him in my notes as Morpheus on Whippets.
The Bishops!
Yes. This character, oh my God. Okay, last night we did a platinum night, right? We had a few listeners come in and watch the movie with us, and it was so much fun because I told Eli, I was like, we have to do this for this movie because the setup on so many of the jokes I want to make would be a hate crime. I have to let them see it. I can't describe to you what Morpheus on Whippets looked or sounded like without being impossibly fucking racist, but I feel like just telling you that tells you everything you need to know.
Well, let me start with this. His name is Big Cat.
Yes.
All right, this gentleman who's the head of the Bishops, his name is Big Cat.
Why don't you share with us his first line,
His
Eli?
first line is...
Was that his name or his game? What was his game, though?
We're about
Eli?
to find out.
That was his name. His game is...
Heroin.
No.
His first line is, Big Cat's the name and jitterbugging's my game.
Again, a white guy wrote that line down and said, they speak in rhymes, right?
And handed it to a black actor.
Yes!
Was like, hey man, this is cool, right? And that guy was like, sure. Are the cameras on? Wait a minute. Go. Cut. All right.
Seriously, the auditions for the black actors in this movie was like, don't stop rhyming and go.
Yeah,
What?
right.
And cut. Next. You had to rhyme with go. You said what?
So, apparently what we're doing here, the Bishops are one gang, the Mau Maus are the other, and they have shown up to organize the dance choreography for their big gang fight.
Right.
You know, are we going to snap on 3? Are we going to syncopate this or what?
And the way they create these rules is hilarious. First of all, they get right out of the way. They're like, well, first of all, if the police show up, we unite and we fight the police. And the guy's like, of course.
Yeah, well,
obviously we should. Heroin.
Duh. But then, okay, so each of the leaders of the gang also has with him his warlord, whose job it is to stand next to him and be badass.
This is the least threatening room of people ever.
And it's also the... Imagine if
tiny.
all of us got in a closet together. All of us. That's this fucking
their
room.
Faces are this close every time, and somebody new has to come in, and it's like me, like getting out of the window seat of an airplane to go talk.
Hey, guys.
All right.
So
What weapons should we be doing?
Yeah, and
They
so
decide.
Here are the weapons they decide on. All right?
Oh, wait. Before you say the weapons, I've got to point out the guy saying the weapons is Eric fucking Estrada. Now, yeah, right? Yeah. This is Eric Estrada's cinematic debut. What Eli is about to tell you is the first line Eric Estrada was ever paid to say into a camera. What weapons can we use, Warlord Nikki?
Chains, blades, straights.
What?
Seems redundant. Straight razor, like blades. Obviously, a straight razor is a blade, but I don't want to give notes. All right.
They should have gone over the Venn diagram before they thought about this. That's stupid.
Bats,
Yep.
clubs,
And?
zips.
What?
Now, I did some research on this. A zip was a homemade gun made out of rubber bands.
It is. It is.
Do I
But-
have a zip
No,
with me? I was around back
What if
then.
Noah
I'm
pulled out a
thinking
gun
maybe-
right now and shot me in the head?
Someone-
Just a
I have a
musket
rubber
with
band.
a
Anybody got a bullet? We can do this. We can make this happen. So is that what it was? They just take a rubber band and a bullet and they'd go.
Yeah. But in the
He got
50s,
so fucking scared. He
in the
thought I was really
50s,
gonna throw
everyone's
up.
bones were very fragile from polio, so that would kill you.
Oh, okay.
But they all agree that zips are not a good idea.
No, they do agree that zips would be taking it a little too far.
Yeah.
Yes.
A lot of people don't like zips
Yeah.
in the audience.
We have an
Anti-zip
anti-zip
audience.
crowd
No,
here.
that's
Yeah,
right.
exactly.
Store-bought only. Damn right.
So
We're going to have a gunfight after the show if you guys want to meet us.
10
But
paces,
no
turn and
zips,
fire kind of a
please.
thing. Yeah. So right about now, Pat Boone decides this would be his time to interject. And again, they are impossibly close. He has to like wedge his way in between them like this. Excuse me, gentlemen.
All right, everybody sit on
also-
laps. Everybody sit on laps. We're like really tight in here for this gang argument.
It could not be more awkward.
It's amazing.
Because he just wanders, and they're in the middle of like, and I'm going to stab you in the heart, and I'm going to break you in the face, and hi.
Pat Boone, yes, you have a question? You okay?
Jesus loves you.
Pat Boone, everybody. Pat Boone.
That's really...
He was just taking the tour at the heroin den.
And they are entirely unaffected by this existence.
Well, what amazes, of course, again, they recognize him from the newspaper because all the gangsters read the Times. And he starts telling
Fake
them about
news.
God. He starts telling them about God. And I love, too, by the way, his first line, he turns to all the black people and he says, God cares about you people.
Exact words.
It was 1970. It was a simpler time back then. And he starts going like, God knows about your alcohols and your marijuana cigarettes and your lustful sexual activities.
And one guy goes, which God? You mean Allah? And he's like, just
Dude, fuck
we're
off.
gonna don't be an asshole. We'll cut that in post. Keep rolling, but like don't.
I'm Pat Boone. You think I mean Allah?
So he's figured out.
That was milk.
Better have been milk. All right, but he's figured out the key to solving gang violence, and that is if you shake the hand of one gang leader and then the other, through the transitive property of gang peace, they can't fight anymore.
No more crime.
Exactly. So he goes and he shakes Big Cat's hands, right? Morpheus on Whippets. And then he turns and he has to shake the Mau Mau's guy's hands. And that includes Eric Estrada, who slaps the ever-loving fuck out of the dude. It's just...
And you can tell that was not planned because Pat Boone's just like, oh! Because he immediately goes, I have one thing to say to you. And I guarantee you there's a take where he goes, I have one thing to say to you.
Screaming
Eric!
like Thomas finding a headless body on the street. Yeah, it's amazing. So, also, there was, I have to point this out because it all goes wrong for him eventually. The gangs decide that they're not taking this guy seriously. And one guy threatens another guy. And his threat is, and I quote, I'm going to push your lip up into your nose. I don't.
It's not that bad. It's honestly not that bad.
I can never get Eli to do anything with threatening that.
So,
I do worse stuff to myself pretty regularly, guys.
So So he leaves very
Rest
upset.
of the show's like this.
So he leaves very upset that he hasn't managed to solve all the crime. Heroin girl demands a theological explanation for her existence on the way out. He can't do that either.
Your
He's
mouth was
fucking
sticky
useless.
just now. It was
So-
sticky.
Heroin. So Bo Peep and him are doing like a post-rap thing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And she grabs a random trumpet from a car.
Was it from a car?
She was from a car.
Oh, okay. All right.
She reaches
So-
into a random car and she's like, I love trumpets. And he's like, put the trumpet back. He's like, oh, you never let me do anything.
Archangel doesn't even need the damn thing, but okay, fine.
4 movies in a row with a trumpet or a cornet in it for us.
in a
4 in
car.
row. Yeah.
It's all on purpose, people.
Yeah.
If you put all the
That's
clues
the hidden
together,
connection. So actually, all of our movies are trumpet based, and the first person to figure out how so wins the show.
you get to take over at episode 101. I'm just kidding, guys. We're going to lock the first 100 episodes behind a paywall.
By the way, he's trying to act like he wasn't actually trying to talk me into doing that here. So I love this scene so much. So him and Bo Peep walk away, and they're about to get into his disassembled, reassembled car, and they hear some singing, and he turns around, and there is a church right behind him. Could not more obviously, steeple, cross, the whole thing, and he goes, "Is that a church?" Like you're a fucking priest, man.
I wanted so badly for Bo Peep to be like, no, it's taco time.
So they use lowercase
T
with the
is for
T's.
taco time. How great would it be to replace all the churches in the world with taco time?
Well, we should have fucking elected Hillary then.
Too political. Can't we all just have a good time? Ugh,
We were gonna have one on every fucking corner. That's all I'm saying. We could have had one on every corner. Anyway, so
Taco time.
He is baffled because not only is this a church, but they're singing in a brown person language.
But they're singing at the end of a very long Zoom.
Okay, so they had 2 lenses in this film. One was that, and the other was. One side of the audience gets this joke, by the way. I was saying the other half, these guys over here, I'll have to do the same thing with this door. So, well, I say half the audience. I'm not talking about the people back home who have no idea what the fuck's going on. So,
Come to the show.
so I also
I rented
love
a theater for you.
This scene has the greatest crowd noises too. So he goes into this church, and of course they're like, "Oh my God, the guy from the paper that walked into the court! Oh shit, autograph!" And they're all in love with him. And I say they're all. It's like 27 people. They're all part of the same family. And the dad, who's also the preacher, is like, "Boy, why would such a handsome, well-endowed man like you want to put your penis in my mouth? What did you say? I didn't. I was.
Crazy.
But also, every time the crowd does anything, they do it for 1.5 seconds and stop.
Can we demonstrate?
Oh yeah, by all means. I'm gonna have a baby. I mean, my wife's gonna have a baby. So, no, you could not.
It's your turn for the next line. Now.
I'm sorry.
Like the planet got destroyed by the Death Star.
That's right. You couldn't have silenced that room quicker with napalm. So they say...
Just a little Vietnamese girl walks out across the stage.
I'm saying you
Follows the
smell
sound.
like victory. It's a good thing. It's a compliment. So
That was a war crime we committed in the 80s, for anyone wondering.
Apocalypse later.
Do you
Apocalypse later.
do you really think the Vietnam War happened in the 80s?
I know so little things.
Name a thing that happened in history and its year.
World War II was 1970.
19 is correct. Fevty? Did you say Fevty?
Heroin.
So he's talking to the... We're gonna have to go so fast through the last half of this movie, guys. Sorry. Let's say the last half. I mean the last 9/8. That's not a number, is it?
That is a number.
Well,
a number.
It's
it is a number.
contagious! Unlearn things! Unlearn things. I'm sorry someone you know brought you to our show. Unlearn things. You guys aren't getting the one-man show I'm getting, where she's just, whoever brought her, buy her many drinks. She's just like...
Was that a joke about a person being burned to death with napalm? Oh, wow.
This is fun.
So, this is what you do for a good time on your own, so...
The fat one saw me. Nope. There he goes.
So the important takeaway from this scene is that this church finds out that poor Pat Boone is sleeping in his car, and they say, well, you can come stay with us. And he looks at the little 9-year-old black girl that's following him around, and they're like, yeah, we're already covering that kind of stuff up. You're good. You're good.
I wanted so badly for her to be like, yeah, I don't have a place. They say she can stay. And I wanted her to be like, I don't have a place to stay either. And they were like,
oh, wow.
That's terrible.
Huh.
Thoughts and prayers. Sad emoji.
So now it's time for the fucking Rumble.
And everyone wore their silliest outfits for the Rumble.
It looks like the cast of Oklahoma versus the cast of The Wiz in a Braveheart LARPing fight. That's what's happening.
Which is doubly ironic because there probably is some of the cast of Oklahoma and the cast of The Wiz in this scene.
Like, yeah, no, maybe.
Yeah.
It's not unlikely.
So, there's literally a guy dressed like Howdy Doody.
It's amazing.
It's like the jacket and the whole nine.
It's basically what Cecil from Cogdiss is doing right now. Yeah. He's like a master defender or something.
Yeah, he baits or
Cecil
something.
just bursts in through the wall. You defend me, sir! Eli's my best friend!
Physical comedy. The kind of thing that you only get by checking the show notes and picking up your tickets to one of our upcoming live shows today.
You can't let me mime. Space work is limitless.
I will still send that invisible social worker over there. So we have this just amazing, bloodless, hitless, violentless fight between these two gangs. And again, I should point out that they all have machetes and stuff like that. But here's how they're fighting. They're going to come up with a machete and they're like, don't make me use this machete. I totally will.
And they do a little sword fight too.
But then there's like another one over here fighting no one because he didn't get matched up.
Yeah, one guy over here.
They didn't have any even number or something, so he's just swinging.
And then entirely arbitrarily, someone does a 1950s lie down. They're just like, all right, relax. Relax. My dad had the rickets, okay? We're just going to all make this. All right, I'm out. I'm out of the Rumble. I'm out.
This was essentially a fucking pillow fight. I have literally seen more violence break out over penguin pants. As a matter of fact, you have seen more violence break out over penguin pants so far today.
I'm loving those penguin pants. They're so comfortable.
Kill your dad with my car.
So they rumble for a little while, and now it's time for the retreat. But it's not a real retreat. It's a Parthian shot. So they run off.
Is that a war tactic from your time?
Yes. Oh, yeah. No, it's from back in my day.
One guy at home right now. Woo! Parthian shot! A Greek guy carrying a trebuchet walks down the stairs.
Andrew gets it. That's why I bring Andrew to every show, so that someone will get all my archaic word geek 80s references. So they run off, but they've apparently set up a trap, which it consists of a rope and
5 feet of rope.
That's so it. Silly. It consists of a rope,
but it manages to trip the entire black gang.
All of the gangs in New York City get tripped by this rope. 5 feet of rope.
People line up. They see people trip, and they're like, "Oh, it's my turn." Someone gets a frontsies, backsies. They're like, "Oh, fuck off,
go!" All of a sudden, Mel Gibson flies off a horse. He comes in. Everybody got tripped by this rope.
So they rumble a little bit, and then now the bishops are on the run. But they, too, have a clever trap devised for their pursuers.
It's like a medieval fire trap. They
is.
go through some trash, and they climb some medieval ladders.
Yep.
And then they throw Molotov cocktails, a weapon that was not agreed upon in the work.
It was not in
No,
the
it
thing.
wasn't. They didn't.
It wasn't in the thing.
At the trash where the Mau-Maus are, and then they throw bricks at them.
Well, okay, so this has really escalated quickly at this point. They're like, fuck, man, we were all just like waving machetes and kicking each other. You started setting folks on fire and shit. That's not cool.
How did they know who to chase at what moment? Like, how did they know who was chasing? And
You miss it, but there's a
switch?
Korean guy with a yellow flag and a
And
bright
and they
hat
reverse. Got it.
at the very front.
I don't feel like there's a reason why he
Why
was
was he
Korean.
Korean?
The tourist groups in the city, there are many of them, and they wear a yellow flag.
That was a joke for the New Yorkers. So,
Edit.
so
Won't get edited.
Right, so they're doing the Donkey Kong board.
Yeah,
They're doing the Donkey
yeah, they
Kong
do
board
the-
where they have to crawl up the ladders with the fire.
well, no, it's very donkey because they're throwing fire at him.
There's
and the whole
barrels, there's fire,
There's
there's
barrels.
literally ladders and then side
Yep,
and then ladder
yep.
and then...
No, you're right. This is probably where they got the idea for Donkey Kong. Was
And
from
the
this
music.
movie. Yeah, well,
It's Donkey Kong. I don't know how. It's 1958. There's video game music happening.
Yep. But eventually the cops manage to like break up the whole fight. They unite in running away from the cops. But as this was all happening, two of the Mau-Maus, there'll be Nikki, that's Eric Estrada's character, and Israel, who is the president of the gang, they sneak off from the crowd and they go see Hat Girl.
Hat Girl.
Typical gang position. Hat girl.
No, you have to
Right.
have a Hat Girl.
You have a
job-
weapon bag girl and a hat girl.
Right.
Yeah.
Her job is to
And a heroin
give
girl.
out gang uniforms at the end of the Rumble. Like everyone changes out of their stuff. And she's like, here's your jacket, here's your hat, here's your cane. How was the Rumble? Literally like my wife. Like, how was the Rumble?
Yeah, no, she...
Did you have fun?
Andrew,
Was
is
everyone nice to you at the Rumble? Be honest, I don't want you going to Rumbles if all they're going to do is bully you.
Andrew, is this how they did it in the Sharks? Is that how the Sharks did it? Did they have the same things?
Did you guys do the rope bit?
Pretty much.
How did the...
Heroin.
So, and at first too, because she's just giving them hats and Mau jackets, and at first I was like, is that like Clark Kent's glasses? Now nobody knows who they are or something.
They walk out past the cops. Well, those are just two gentlemen from the end of Earth Angel. Let them go on their merry way.
So now, okay, so this kind of wraps up, and now we hear a little trumpet playing, and it turns out that Pat Boone has decided to take, jump up on his soapbox and tell all these fine folks about Jesus and the importance of loving God and whatnot. But there's a cop who's very upset about this.
He gets stopped by the first ever member of the FFRF.
Yeah, apparently.
It's like, no, you can't do this here, man. You got to do it. And he does the amazing conspiracy theory
Yes,
thing.
yeah.
He says free speech only counts under an American flag. And Pat Boone's like, anyone got an American flag? Like, no question. He's just like, yeah.
No, they're like, oh, but if you had a flag. So somebody runs and snaps a flag off of somebody else's car, runs and takes this tiny little flag and holds it over him like this, and the cop's like, fuck.
I wanted
Totally
to,
got
I wanted to see what the range of the flag was. He was like, the Jews started all the war. I smell different. 9/11. Right here.
So they finally let him preach. And I should point out that the whole crowd is just like, let him speak. And he's like, they're going to let me speak now. And they're all like, fuck you.
Instantly they start heckling. They're like, let him speak, you motherfucker. For no reason. By the way, I have worked bar mitzvahs that have gone worse than this Pat
that's
Boone
no
speech.
The Edinburgh show, for
Yeah,
example, is, So,
You won't talk about homeopathy. Boo.
so he gets up and he delivers his, I'm just a simple caveman lawyer speech forever. And all the gangsters are here too, right? Well, not all of them, but like Morpheus on Whippets is there, and Israel and Nikki wander by, and they're all just, wrapped by his speech. All of them except for Eric Estrada, who's just too badass to buy in all this Jesus stuff, obviously.
Right, and he shakes the bishop's hand again, which is weird. He's just like, another one? And he's like, all right, man, you're abusing the whole All right, that's 2. We get 2. And then he goes over to Eric Estrada again. He's like, huh? And then you slapped me last time. And he spits at him. He spits in his face.
Yeah. And the whole crowd reacts to like the cartoon characters at the end of Roger Rabbit, just like, yeah, it was quite amazing. Also, I love that the big cat says to him on the way, he's like, "No, I'm not ready to turn my life over to Jesus, but keep trying, man. You're getting close. You're getting close. I'm almost there. I am so close.
80% there to Jesus."
So now we're going to cut to the post-Rumble hangout at the HQ, where everyone is insanely beat to hell.
Well, they're an escalating amount of injured.
Yes,
the guy on the far right, he's got like a meh. And the guy on the left, he's got like a wah. And the third guy, I wanted like the third guy to just be like, has no head. And the fourth guy is just a pile of ashes that someone's patting Jen. Just like, oh, Tony, this Rumble did not go well for you, bro.
Yeah, apparently I guess maybe straights is a term for chemical warfare. That was I don't know what they were going. Yeah,
I think somebody got acid attacked by the Muslim guy. Maybe.
Oh, there you go. They do that. Those Muslims. So what they do?
It's just factually accurate. I don't know why everybody's.
Yeah, exactly. So we do the flesh-eating bacteria pan there. And then Nikki shows up, Eric Estrada's character, and he's really pissed at the one guy who doesn't look like he got the hell beat out of him.
And him and Israel step to the side to have an angry couple, how should we punish the children fight.
Yeah, they do.
It's literally like, I'm sorry, can I speak to you over here for a minute? Okay.
How far? This much further away?
Yeah, this is fine.
Okay.
I thought we weren't going to do this.
We said
we read the Dr. Spock
they're right over there.
book.
No,
and in the Dr. Spock book, it said when people in your gang don't behave,
I feel like that's a weird
it's
source
a
for this to determine how we would handle the gang.
Dr. Glauber said you need to respect me more
Again.
in these situations.
This is weird for everybody else because they can hear us from like 5 feet away. We're in a gang.
So we literally get that. They're like, why were you hanging out with that preacher? You like him more than me? So then they go back to punish the guy, and apparently the punishment they've agreed on is a gang spank.
They get their belts out and they're gonna like, meh.
Yeah, they all like take their belts off, and Mingo is the name of the character, and because he's Hispanic,
and his reaction is to throw himself off a building. I don't want to get hit with a belt, but if everyone in the room right now was like, Eli, we're going to hit you with a belt, I wouldn't throw myself off a building. So I'd be like, no.
Well, to be fair.
It was probably Rumble 100. So, yeah.
Yeah, so he falls off of a balcony and dies to death.
And he lands perfectly as chalk outline guy.
Yeah, he does.
It was super convenient for the trace guy.
He's very considerate.
Like he didn't have to move it.
Very considerate gentleman. I love too. His like head is smashed against the concrete. And they're like, somebody call an ambulance and tell him not to bother. I guess he's not gonna make it. So now we cut to Eric Estrada late that night having nightmares or strobe flashbacks to what just happened in the last scene.
In the movie. Bingo.
Yeah, right. And there's a knock at his door. Now, I should point out, by the way, that they've got him in the shithole apartment. I guarantee you that same apartment is like $3,800 a month right now.
Oh, yeah.
Minimum.
Absolutely. Are you kidding? A kitchen/bedroom?
Well, yeah.
Luxury.
So he goes to the door in his...
diaper? He is wearing Heath Enwright underwear. I have never seen...
I feel like that's...
I have a question.
That's a weird thing.
People who were born before things were good... When did underwear start to look like something a person should wear? And when was it just as much cotton you could wrap around your loins as possible?
I don't think that's an accurate depiction of what I like.
You're saying you're not wearing tighty whities right now?
It doesn't look like a cast though. It's not.
Are you or are you not wearing tighty whities right now?
I'm wearing a very tasteful black boxer brief. I'm not going to show.
You bought those for the show.
You messed with me yesterday about this. You fucked with me on this yesterday, and I switched it, and now you look wrong.
It's amazing how good these jokes work when you switch them up on Eli without telling him about it. Yeah, it's amazing. That's awesome.
It's okay, I'll have my revenge.
you will.
On episode 99.
So we have this. So we have this amazing moment. Now, the knock at the door turns out to be the preacher. who has, I shit you not, shown up at a dude he doesn't know's apartment at 3 a.m. to tell him God loves him.
It's the best. He's just like, hi, hello, stupid. Can I come in?
Hey.
Will you go to the prom with Jesus? I don't know. And they have a
Boombox.
conversation. Baby, come back. Yeah.
But with the Bible playing on it. So Eric Estrada is not happy with this.
No.
He's like, hey, it's 3 a.m. Which, to be fair, perfectly normal reaction.
Yeah, right?
And Pat Boone's response is he goes, you talk tough, Nikki, but inside, you're just like the rest of us. Pink and full of blood.
Organs. Well, he also says like, you act really tough there, Nikki, but aren't you lonely? And I'm like, you're talking to a 17-year-old boy in his underwear in the middle of the night, bro. This is really, really uncomfortable.
At which point he screams and slams the door.
Yeah,
in his face,
right, exactly. You notice
reasonable.
I looked right at Eli when I was saying that?
Well, that's how I reacted when he showed up dressed like a penguin in my bedroom. It was really weird. You wake up and Eli is right over, just standing there. Just standing there.
Ice cream cone, Heath?
The ice cream cone made it extra weird. Yeah, I did eat it. I did eat it, but that's not the point.
It was Neapolitan, all 3 flavors. So now we cut to Heroin Girl the next day. She is hitting up Eric Estrada for $10.
But again, she asks how the Rumble is. This is a theme throughout the movie, is that people start conversations like, so, how was the Rumble?
It was pretty good. We did the rope.
You did the rope?
Yeah, it did work. The rope
It
worked.
worked.
Yep, it
I
worked.
told you
I
the
know.
rope would
I know.
work.
You were saying the rope would
You
work.
gotta stop
said
doubting
this
yourself.
was a good idea.
You come up with such great ideas
No,
in Israel.
you helped a lot with that, with the rope.
I love this. I love this scene too. So she wants to sit with Eric Estrada. Eric Estrada does not want her sitting next to him. So she keeps sitting down, and he'll get up, right? So like she'll sit down, and he'll be like. But you can only do that once without then starting to move into very weird locations. So it would be like the equivalent of me just going now, like, okay, so I don't really want to talk to you guys. I mean, he climbs into a phone booth. He climbs into a cash register.
Under a register at one point.
It's
We should also point out, this is a pretty normal scene. She's like, hey, man, give me $10. I would love some heroin. And he's like, no, don't have any heroin for you because I don't like you. But there is a third character in this scene.
Alfred E. Newman's grandpa.
Who will never be acknowledged.
But he'll be this close.
He'll be right here.
And it's just like,
He'll be right here.
So it's like, please, Nikki, you must give me $10 for heroin.
You're just going to spend it on heroin.
What are you
I
guys
know that you
talking
will.
about?
No, I need it for heroin.
I'm just going to pee in this urinal I brought.
It's
right
the
here.
craziest thing in the world.
Have you guys heard of ass to ass? You looking for heroin?
It's second craziest thing in the world. So he decides eventually that the key here is that he's going to give her the $10, but only if she agrees to stab Pat Boone to death with a switchblade.
Yep.
So, just to review, 1970s money here. $5, prostitute, 2 joints, and 25 cents change.
How do you think that breaks down, by the way? Like,
That's a
is
good
it
question.
like $2 for each joint and 75 cents for the sex with the prostitute?
Right, or
is it like
50 cents
How much
for
would it
the-
be?
I don't...
It a la carte. I want to know what it would be a la carte. If I'm getting a package deal, is weird. Like, I want to be able to order it normally.
He brought his-
Fingers.
So she agrees. She's like, okay, I'll kill the preacher, but I need heroin first. And let's be honest, if you ever try to kill a preacher sober, it's way tougher. So
Let's do that after the show, huh?
that was a funny joke that he just joked about, wasn't it, Andrew? That joke that he just made about that humor.
Whatever could the audience be reacting to? Does it somehow involve using his microphone as a mock penis? It does. How exactly does it involve that? Well, the only way to know for sure is to make it to one of our live shows. So check the show notes for information for our upcoming shows in Seattle, Austin, Salt Lake City, and Sydney, Australia.
So now your little sister knows what you do for a living. How do you feel about that, Eli?
Hi, Lily. This is fun. You should share this on Snapchat.
So now we cut over to Pat Boone. He's having a meal with the Mexicans.
Fried plantains.
Well, I love to because
really
he's like they're trying to make it exotic where they're having tacos or something. He's like, "What's this?" And they're like, "That's the napkin. It's fibery." Very good.
And he's doing and I've been this guy, he's doing every racist white guy eating not hot dogs reaction to everything. It's like, ooh, it's muy bueno. I'm glad you like it. Don't please. Oh, what do you call this? That's a fork. All right, yeah.
But this is where they come up with this great idea. They realize that if they this is Hector, who is the Hispanic priest that we met earlier. This is Pat Boone, the little 9-year-old girl that he's just decided to adopt, and a police sergeant that we met in an earlier scene and didn't bother to tell you guys about. Sorry about that.
He doesn't matter.
So no, he really very much doesn't matter.
In the only scene in which he could matter, we'll learn he just comes out and he's like, "I'm gonna go."
So, so this is where they realize that if they really want to solve crime, what they're going to have to do is throw a youth party and invite all the gangs under one roof together. What could go wrong?
Just to be clear, the protagonist of this movie has the exact same plot as Jimmy does in South Park. It will be great. We'll get marshmallows and ginger ale. and all the gang violence.
So they decide to have Gang-a-Palooza, and he goes, and I love, at this point he goes, "We'll get all the beboppers and jitterbuggers." Pat fucking Boone saying this line. "We'll get all the beboppers and jitterbuggers together." Yeah.
Still better than Firefest.
I just wanted them to cut over to like a different gang doing the Charleston as they rob a bank. They've got like walkers instead of canes. Yeah.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, that's another thing we hadn't mentioned, that every gangster has a cane.
They all carry canes. That's a thing.
Who the fuck knew? Meanwhile, back at Mau Mau HQ, Eric Estrada's trying to get a little alone time with him in his joint and his buddy, because you got to have.
And they're doing like bro talk about him convincing a heroin addict to kill a man.
Yeah.
It's like, no. Dude, listen to this. Listen to what happened last night. Just between you and me, last night, I was like, "Mary, just for my birthday, will you kill the preacher?"
Did she do it?
She did it!
She did it? Fuck out of here.
It's so weird. Funny. It's very like women. Can't live with him. Can't convince him to kill a man for $10 worth of heroin.
Think we'll ever get a woman president?
So,
why can't we just keep it fun?
So, yeah, it got significantly less fun that night. Who knew? So now we cut back to David. He's gotten a phone call from his wife who is pregnant. And basically this is so that like the killer lady can show up, right? The heroin girl who's supposed to kill him can show up, and he can be on the phone going like, "Wow, you're going to have the baby any minute. Sure would be a shame if I got stabbed in the throat. Can I help you?"
And then he like cuts his wife off, who is about to give birth. He's like, "Yeah, no, sorry, I have a junkie here who needs to talk to me. It's kind of rude that I'm talking to you instead."
Excuse me.
So,
excuse me.
Yeah, no, just a second. Yeah, and then he talks to he hangs up on his.
He hangs
well,
up
that's
on
how
his,
it worked back then, though.
He hangs up on his birthing wife. He's like, "Hun, I get it. Push."
Really, miscarriage. Oh well, you win some, lose some. All right. Don't forget the porterhouse when I come home.
Oh, Jesus.
Perfect.
So, all right, so like she's about to stab him, then she realizes there's a police sergeant in the room, and she's like, "Can we go in this other room where there's not a cop, and I can talk to you?" And she's like, "Yeah, okay." She's like, "Can you close your eyes and walk into this dark corner here, and maybe just hold your arms up like this?"
If you were to point to your heart, where would it be? And Pat Boone, by the way, is totally just like, "Yeah, no, heart here. Right here. I'm going to unbutton my shirt. I would say it would be right there.
But if you were trying to reach it, you'd want to come up from the underneath into the So,
what did you want to talk about? Heroin.
So, and also we should point out too, this character. Her name is Rosa, the heroin girl. She has the most amazing acting dichotomy. It is either screaming at the top of her lungs or mumbling.
Yeah.
Those are the only two modes she has. And she moves between them quite randomly, and sometimes with like in mid-sentence. So she talks to the preacher for a little while, but he's not helping, and he's not going to give her $10 for heroin, so she decides she's going to have to go ahead and kill him. Just as soon as she can open this switchblade.
For 45 minutes.
She takes out the knife for the rest of Act 2 and most of Act 3. Yeah. And then there's a sequel about her finishing taking out the knife. There it is. It's like an infomercial for like Ron Popeil's like easy stab knife, and she's like, blah, like knife.
Just
There's got to be a better way.
She gets lemon juice in her eye somehow. Like, you know.
A milk carton just explodes on a nearby table.
So she pulls out her knife, and then she goes to stab him, but she only cuts his shirt or whatever. And then she runs off and threatens to stab herself. And this is where we meet the magical black lady of the movie. But just to be a little different, they made her a magical Hispanic lady.
Yeah, and she Mad Maxes the knife out of Rosa's hand. She's like,
Just walk away. We will spare your lives. Just walk away.
and Rosa's like, ew.
Well, but she isn't. But she isn't, though. That is such a bizarre part of this scene, is that they actually, they like have her walk up and hug her and everything, but still holding the knife. She holds the knife until the scene's over.
Yeah.
So you're expecting any minute for her to just stab that lady in the back.
The next scene, we see her sleeping with the switchblade like a security blanket, just
I wanted somebody to take out a switchblade and just like a cross pops out.
Oh, shit. Would have been so much
cross
better
and the
than
switchblade.
everything that happened in this movie.
It's bad writing.
So now, of course, you think?
That was again. That was
So,
like the biggest problem in the movie.
Now we get this. We get the Rosa detoxing montage, which, as we all know from movies, is sweating in a bed for most of a montage.
Is this
right?
not a normal amount of sweating? I feel like I detox from heroin like all the time. That's how I sleep.
If movies have taught us anything, it's that a bad flu and kicking heroin, the exact same experience.
Pretty much, yeah. It's
just
one,
like,
one
I
is a
need
little
applesauce.
writhier than the other, but yeah. Other than that. So now that we've seen the requisite Hollywood cleaning up from addiction scene, a.k.a. managed to writhe sweatily on the same bed for an entire montage, I suppose we can pause for a quick break, but before we do, let me give Act 3 the hard sell here. Will Bo Peep and the Preacher Man just cut the tension and fuck already? Will Pat Boone fully inflate the balls for the championship game against the Colts? He looks just like Tom Brady. It's really crazy. How much Bush do you suppose Heroin Girl is rocking? Find out the answers to considerably less questions and less when we return for the totally true they promise conclusion of The Cross and the Switchblade.
They call me Mr. Scoops, 'cause I like to shoot hoops. Now, when do we rumble?
Well, Daddy-o, the way that we go, neither rain nor the snow will be Wednesday for show.
I actually have a dentist appointment on Wednesday. Seriously?
Dude, take a hint. That's so obviously...
Oh, sorry. Okay. When it comes to beef, if you want to fight Heath, gonna need to be Thursday.
Not even close to a rhyme. Not even close.
I said
Are you
D.
fucking serious?
I'm sorry.
dude?
I thought it was a gang war, not a rap battle.
I am so sorry about this.
A little professionalism is all that I ask, man.
I understand, and again, I am mortified.
It's fine. Thursday is fine. Okay. When we do the stepping, with what kind of weapon?
Oh shit, me?
Yeah.
Guns, forks, and knives, and each other's wives.
Oh,
Seriously,
man.
wives. You want to use wives in the game?
I don't know,
battle?
man. What rhymes with knives?
This is the least professional war council I have ever been to. Embarrassment.
Put it in a memo.
Okay, welcome to the second war council. Hopefully all the kinks have been worked out.
They have.
Yeah. Sorry.
Okay, all right. So we're doing it Thursday. Which weapons?
Knives,
Sticks,
bats,
Bricks,
zips,
chains.
window panes.
Motherfucker.
Larry, we had a
That's- it
whole
did-
meeting about this.
What rhymes with chains?
It doesn't have to rhyme.
Doesn't have to rhyme. Right. Sorry. That had to rhyme still.
And we're back from the People's Improv Theater in New York, New York! Now, first bit ran a little long, so we're going to have to go a little quick through this third act of the show. So
It's such a good act, though. We're going to rush through it. I feel bad.
No, I hate that we're going to have to go long. We have to
act.
make this a two-parter. You guys coming back next week? Sweet. Awesome. All right, so we're going to start this one off with the Mau Mau's driving around where they see the marquee for the big gang party thing.
And they're like, ooh, gang party. That seems fun. Can we go?
I love, too, that the one character goes like, man, that preacher, you sure got to admire how brave he is to keep doing that. Keep in mind, this is based on a story written by the guy that character is talking about. That guy wrote that line about himself for another character to say.
He's just got a tape recorder with an ex-gang member. And now, did you fellas ever talk about how brave I was? Yeah, man, all the time.
Well, we couldn't stop talking.
Knew it.
Now, now apparently they're on their way to Mingo's funeral. Mingo is the guy who threw himself off of the thing so as not to get spanked earlier. So they go to Mingo's funeral, but the bishops are Elmer Fudd stalking them.
It's so good.
They might as well be behind the gravestones, and as the Mau Mau's are walking, like the gravestones follow along behind them. It is hilariously comic.
Just playing the Pink Panther on sax themselves as they're dressed like headstones.
Yeah.
Also, I gotta say, I love these gangsters in their funeral suits, especially Eric Estrada. See, last time I was at a funeral, they didn't even have a maitre d', and it was weird. Nobody knew where to sit. If you saw the movie, that was really funny, by the way. I was going to throw that out. So now they get that they have a big rumble there in the cemetery.
Right.
And this scene only exists so that we get to see Eric Estrada's masterful stab walking.
Eric Estrada will spend the next 45 minutes of the movie struggle walking to everything, like to work, just orders something, washing his hands, brushing his teeth.
And I love the cops that show up at this rumble.
Oh, yeah.
They show up in 2 seconds.
They were clearly fucking in that cemetery.
They were walking the graveyard beat. They were walking the cemetery beat.
Graveyard.
They might as well fall in from the ceiling and just stop this gang rumble.
You know, guys, this is a Christian movie, and in Christianity, the dead often do come back. We might as well have someone stationed right there.
Just make sure. Still dead? Still dead. Still dead.
So
that's the priest Eli got earlier.
So he stab walks his way into an alley and lays down to die. But just then, Bo Peep comes along. Now, this is gonna lose a little without the visual, but if you can imagine, his head is cracked open like a watermelon, bleeding every fucking where, and Bo Peep walks up and goes, "Are you hurt?"
How did she find him? Where are these hidden alleys that he's in just like a magical, like Donkey Kong, you would walk through like a
I wanted a Minotaur.
He's in like alley 9 3/4 somehow. And she just like finds him.
I wanted a Minotaur to pass by, see him, and just be like, not my problem.
So she's like, "Do you want me to go get help?" And he doesn't answer. He just looks at her like, "What the fuck do you think?" So she thinks to herself, okay, like, stabbed man needs help. Preacher. Heroin. That's the way to go.
Heroin would be way more helpful than the
way
preacher.
More
at this
helpful.
point.
And to be fair, Pat Boone runs down the alley. Pat Boone was apparently 3 feet away.
Yeah.
Because he runs down the alleyway and he's like, hey, looks like you need a doctor.
Why the hell am I here?
1 second, Eric comes back. He's got like a birthday clown, and the clown's like, hoo-hoo, you need a doctor. It's just a series of more and more ridiculous jobs.
But he doesn't want anybody's damn help. He can stab, struggle, walk all on his own. So he goes, I don't need your help. And they're like, oh, okay. And don't help him.
Yeah, they respect his wishes. He's like, no, I don't like you. And they're like, fine, bleed to death.
When you come around, I'll be here. Yeah, so he wanders off, and Rosa goes to follow him because she wants to help him out too, but not really. Because they get to his apartment, and she decides that rather than dealing with the visible intestines, she would rather talk to him about how the preacher really helped her a lot, and really some of the things he said to her made a lot of sense.
Women. Got blood pouring down your face, so guess what my week was like? I know, but I just want to tell you this one thing real quick. Okay, I need to tell you a story first. Do you remember my friend Allison?
She's so funny.
So funny.
She's so funny. She's fun. Allison's funny.
And of course, also, it seems like through the course of this scene, I'm trying to keep you out of trouble. So through the course of this scene, not only is she more concerned with the preacher and Jesus than the fact that he's stabbed, but eventually so is he.
Yeah. He just ignores his spleen like popping out of his stomach, and he's like, you know what, you've gotten really weird since you kicked heroin. I just want to say that. You've changed.
Yeah. He's like, I liked you better when you were on the junk. And I'm thinking, like, if my wife was going to be either a Jesus freak or a heroin addict, I think I'd, I mean, at least they writhe when they're on heroin. That was kind of sexy.
But it's not tax deductible, so you got to consider.
Oh shit!
You got to consider the tax implications.
Yeah, no, I had not honestly thought about that at all.
As long as you don't run out of heroin.
Yeah, you never know what's going to happen. Then she might. Well, I have some preachers that I could use too.
So she's very unhappy about this. And you know how when you get in a fight with your girlfriend or your boyfriend, and you just immediately run to your heroin dealer? We've all been there. It's a hard time for all of us. But here's the weird thing. The music they set this like serious moment to is like la 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 la. It is the craziest.
She's licking a lollipop as she skips to a heroin dealer. It's really
tells
weird.
Me I'm gonna get on smack. Wonder Woman.
Also, can we talk a little bit about her? Heath, if you had to describe her heroin dealer in one word, what word would that be?
I'm going to say obsequious. Is that?
Well, that's fairly typical.
Is that an appropriate word for a heroin
for a
dealer?
heroin
He's
dealer,
very
yes.
attentive
Service?
to the point of overly attentive as a heroin dealer.
Service. I want to meet anyone who loves their job as much as this heroin dealer loves his job. He greets her like Heath gets greeted at McDonald's, just like, oh,
bring me
welcome
all
again.
the options.
Oh, Heath's here, everybody. Heath's like Cheers, but with slightly less heroin.
Yes.
That's really what happened to Diane. Not a lot of people know that.
So, just wondering why Rhea stayed so skinny. So now the heroin dealer, like, he has a little, like, I don't know, fucking Cajun chef moment while he's making the heroin. He's whistling to himself.
It's like Rachel Ray with heroin.
Yeah.
Like, dun, 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 dun.
And the secret ingredient is baby laxative.
Yeah, so, no, but the whole thing plays like Iron Chef heroin, yeah. It's amazing.
It's like anal retentive heroin chef. And now you wrap the used needle in a paper towel, fold them unbroken. Now you wrap it in tin
want to
foil.
see an episode of Iron Chef where the secret ingredient is heroin. Because there's one guy that would just start right away. There's so much pressure on that cooking show, he'd just be like, I'm making a heroin souffle with a heroin remoulade and a heroin pasta with a heroin. You just committed like 8 felonies. I know, but I want to beat Mario Batali.
Gordon Ramsay just slaps it out of his hand. Make it again.
Look at this heroin. Look at this heroin.
But of course, now, so she takes her heroin, but of course she's all Jesus up now, so it doesn't work.
It doesn't work.
You can be
She
immune
is
to it.
heroin proof.
She's-
I wanted that to catch on from this movie so badly. Like the snake venom. Just like someone walks out, ladies and gentlemen, I want to show you the power of holy shit, motherfucker. Bring me a bass guitar. Boom, 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 boom.
So now we got to go check in on Gang-a-Palooza. So the
Ramen Show needs a new angle. I'm just saying. I think Ramen Show needs a new angle.
Cooking heroin with Heath.
There's no two syllables. I was trying to think of all the slang terms for it are one syllable. God damn it. There's no two. There's no da. Yeah. So
Just taste the.
if
taste
anybody
the
has a
heroin.
new slang term for heroin that they'd like to throw out, two syllables, please. So. Cooking black tar with Heath. Thank you.
I wouldn't.
By the way, when you hear
comfortable
that
with
edited, it's going to sound like I came up with that. But I'm just going to throw that out there. I want to be honest with you.
It feels racist,
Now it does.
right?
Now it does.
Why? Like, because it's like, oh, black tar, like, because it's tar, but it's all. Why has it got to be? I'm not comfortable.
I'm less comfortable.
I will explain to you after the show why they call
Cooking
it black
some tar with Heath.
But then you're just the kind of.
Taste the heroin. Where's the spoon? Aha.
So we go to
Be a fun
check in
show.
on
It's a fun show.
Gang-a-Palooza.
And nobody's shown up for Gang-a-Palooza, guys. They're really bummed out.
Yeah, they are. But this is when Sergeant Palindrome, or whatever the fuck his name was, says, hey, you know what would be a great idea? If you're going to get all the gangs together, why not have no cops anywhere?
Yeah, I'm going to go.
See, if everyone had a chain, a zip, a knife, and a gun, we wouldn't need cops. Second Amendment. Right? Newtown was a false flag. Who's with me?
Yeah!
Eli's with me.
So
False flag.
So we clear that up because it's very important that we learn that they're not going to be, the cops aren't going to be at the Gang-a-Palooza or whatever. So now we cut to the gangs staring each other down again.
And they're in perfect semicircles. Yeah. Getting ready for this gang fight. And I really wanted to see them lining up. Just like, little squid.
Bottle cap, back it up a little bit. There you go.
Now, but
hold on, I have a switchblade.
Left.
I have a switchblade with a protractor. It needs to be even. This is serious.
Count off by threes. 1, 2, 3. All right, threes over here.
Odds on this side. So now it's time for them to figure out where they're going to do the new sequel to the Rumble for the Rumble that they did before that spilled over into the funeral.
Right. And
Yeah.
they decided
Makes
the
perfect
problem
sense.
was there was too much escaping. So they're going to use the youth rally with the jitterbugs as a cage match.
Yeah. And they're serious. You can bring zips this time.
The zip guns are in.
Yeah, they say that's. And I so wanted a gun making montage,
Push it to the limit. Limit. Just shooting rubber bands, not good enough. No, the lasers, and just finally kill someone. Yeah.
I want to see a commercial for the Nerf zip gun. Just like a bunch of kids diving over couches, their hands missing from exploding. Some kids' babes. Nerf zip gun.
Are you getting ready for a rumble? There was a Nerf gun that you pretended to surrender and you shot.
Yes.
A gun. That's a weird toy for a child.
It violates the Geneva Convention in a Nerf gun. That's impressive.
Who was the first guy to be like, all right, guys, we've made 80 Nerf guns, and by the way, there's only 2 real guns. So how about one where you lie about being done fighting and then you shoot someone in the face?
Also, okay, so now it's time to head over to Gang-a-Palooza. And I don't want to say this line, but I'm going to say this line. So the first gang shows up, the Mau Mau's show up, and they all sit on one far side of the church. And now the bishops show up, the all-black gang shows up, and Bo Peep looks down and says, and I quote, "This is the first time I don't want no soul brothers coming to my party."
Was that racist? Was it? I feel like a party of all white people can be fun. Yale is fun.
The
Yale's
Republican
a fun place.
Party.
You've gotten so political, Eli, since
Sorry.
you've joined the show.
Throwing the show back.
Yeah.
Dial it back.
So I love too that you get the okay. Now we know that these are gangs, right? We know that it's the one gang sitting on one side, the other gang sitting on the other side. But to the people who are in this church, because apparently some people were just there for the service that night, all they see is a bunch of black people come in and sit down.
Are they like well-behaved little gangs? Like, what are they doing at Gangapalooza? Or they just thought it was a service?
They just were really into the church service.
They were into the
I guess
service.
so.
But here's the crazy thing. The Mau Mau's come in, and they've got knives and chains and zips and canes, and they're just like, oh, nice, they've got matching jackets. And the black people get in, and every white person there is just like, nope, 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 nope.
And the movie does not acknowledge it at all. Amazing. And yeah, and we got to point out that these kids are not just like sitting there going like, all right, at 4:00, everybody pulls out. They're waving their machetes at each other from across the room. I'm going to stab you later.
This gang
In
fight
the
we're going to have
scene.
is going to be fantastic. Find me. If you miss me in the gang fight, find me so we can stab
It
at
was
each
awkward
other.
when we didn't line up evenly last time. And
I didn't have
had
a partner.
I was just... looked stupid. People are gonna make
It was
fun
like
of me.
Parachute.
This is a bad movie.
I had to be partners with the teacher. Because I was so popular.
So
I got a lunch table all to myself. The other kids were intimidated, right, Mom? I've always been this way. There wasn't always a podcast. Most of the time it was just me and her, and I was like, do you like me back? And she was like, no.
all right, next time we invite Heath's mom and we roast her. So I love to, okay, so this is what they've got. They've literally got, again, they've got two gangs openly brandishing large knives and firearms. And they look to the preacher and he's like, man, that's a pretty tough crowd. He goes, maybe we send Mary out there to sing. Literally, they send out, that would be like if you guys were all like waving guns and firing them in the air and everything. And I'm like, hey, Lucinda, do you want to do maybe a song first?
And she comes out, and it's not even like, it's just like, oh, creek the river.
Boy, that's a hell of a falsie you got there, bro.
Thank you.
Now, I'd like you to
gangs are
stand
just
on
like-
that stool and sing us an Irish song.
Yes.
So she goes out and then she sings and she can't do it and she runs off or whatever. And now it's time for the preacher man to come out there and show us what he's got.
And you know what'll really get him? A collection. He goes, you know what I need to do? Ask this room for money.
Well, this is the most amazing accidental metaphor in the history of Christian movies. Because the way he's going to get the gangs onto his side, right? He sends them out with these little collection buckets or whatever, and he gives them to the gang members, right? And he's like, I want you guys to go out and get money from everybody in this crowd. So for like 3 minutes, we watch these guys walk up one after the other to people and just go,
More.
and armed men. And then there's somebody that you're supposed to put money in my hand. You fucked up my bet, but that's all right. But they give them money, and then they would still give them more money. And I'm like, that is church. Wow. They're not usually this honest, y'all.
To be fair, yeah, that is way nicer than prosperity gospel. Like,
Yeah, right.
like, no, just we'll just stab you if you don't give us money.
Oh, okay.
Don't give us your rent. Just Creflo Dollar comes in. Let me show you how to do it, motherfucker. So you gotta shake it. You gotta shake the key. It's in the shake. I
noticed you put imaginary money in his imaginary thing. Whatever. So here's the thing. He says, take all the money and go through the back door where nobody can see you, and then come back around and give it to me. Right? Mm-hmm. So then they walk out and they're like, so you guys want to just take this money now, or like we can just throw it in a pot and
Wait.
the rumble?
He has a good idea.
Wait.
He has a good idea.
You know what would totally blow this preacher's mind?
What's that?
If we just gave him the money.
I don't understand why that would blow his mind.
He'll never see it coming.
But We also won't have any money, though.
1 second, let me add to that idea. We all become Christians.
Oh, shit.
Literally, it's just like, oh, he'll never see it coming. So they wander out with the popcorn bucket.
Yeah, and they're like, boy, this will fuck up his rhetorical device.
And he's like, thanks. And you can see the actors looking at each other like, I don't get.
I don't know. We just lost a bunch of money.
I don't understand.
Did we do?
How much are you getting paid to do this movie?
So,
was it as much as the prop money in the popcorn buckets? Because I don't know if you know this, but you can get two
For
marijuana
$4.75. In fact,
I can get you a deal though.
can you?
Yeah.
Can you get like pieced out or like
3
does it have to be all
marijuana
three?
cigarettes,
Wow.
6 bodies,
All right.
no change.
Done.
Ah!
Done.
thank you, good night. Wait a minute, hold on. So now it's time for the big end sermon of the movie. Now, luckily for you, we're running a little low on time, so we're not going to spend the 87 years on this goddamn sermon that the movie does.
Again, we're not going to be able to do it justice because it's a sweet scene.
It's amazing.
We're going to have to fast forward through it.
All we really need to talk about is what happens at the end of this sermon. So he's like, Jesus is great and Jesus loves you, and the real cowardice is not to love Jesus. But this really gets to Eric Estrada.
Yeah, no, Eric Estrada, we close in on him, and he's right.
And
It is great to love Jesus.
And look, we all know there's one thing that happens when you've really been moved by someone speaking. And that is that a high school picture day background appears behind them. It's the lasers.
The laser thing.
Yes, the
literally
lasers
behind
just
them.
like...
Okay, they literally freeze frame. Yes, with that look on his face, they freeze on that, and then lasers appear behind him. And Eric Estrada the whole time is going, oh my God, it is the single most amazing instant in any movie we have ever watched. And I think anybody that was there for Platinum Night will back me up on this. Yeah. Oh my God. I loved it so fucking much. And then, okay, so he has his whole big Jesus talk. Eric Estrada comes to Jesus. And now Abdullah, the character that asked him earlier if he meant Allah when he was talking about God, steps up and he's like, yeah, no, I get it, preacher. It's my turn now. I mean, I get it. Jesus is awesome and everything. You guys still want a gang fight?
How did you freeze like that? No, we're gonna gang fight. We're gonna gang fight. It's weird. We need to
Where
do it.
did those lasers come from? But now it's time for the gang fight. So all the gangs jump up and they start running towards each other with their machetes out. But just then, don't you say there's been enough stabbing and killing?
That's Eric Estrada acting hard again.
And everyone reacts the way you did, which is... off-putting.
These actors...
I'll stab him. No.
The actors, they're so good. They can act at 1 or 11.
Yes.
And that's all they can do. And the jumps between is like, they start acting violently. Like, it's like, did you ever see somebody drive a stick wrong? And it's lurching and stopping and lurching and stopping. That's the acting in this movie.
That's how I drive an automatic. Because I'm hitting people.
So Eric Estrada jumps up and tells everybody.
It's good you don't have a car anymore.
That's a good thing. We appreciate that, by the way.
Well
Mom.
done. Very important.
So, I also should point out that in this scene, that the music is so incredibly fucking literal.
It's so specific. The name of the song is like, God loves Eric Estrada.
God loves... The last line of this song is literally, God loves Nikki Cruz.
That's the character's name.
That's the character's name.
Yes.
And now he loves Jesus too.
And now the credits are about to come on.
Credits.
It's amazing. So, but of course, Abdullah, because he's a Muslim,
he's a Lamanite,
is...
A lot of knowledgeable Mormons.
Yes. If there's one thing that reading the Book of Mormon gives you, it's all the racism. So everyone is super affected by this except for Abdullah. who is immune, obviously, from the Lamanite-ness. So he says, yeah, no, I get it, but I'm still going to stab you. So he runs to stab Eric Estrada, gets him right in the stigmata. Literally.
But he's not bothered by it. He's just like,
damn. And so he gets the knife back from Abdullah, and they wrestle around a little bit, and he says, hey, look, I can stab you in the neck, but I'm not gonna, because I'm Christian now.
well, he says, I've got your knife now. I can take it from you, or I can give it back to you. And I wanted him to be like, I mean, I would prefer if you gave it back. But I'm going to be honest. I'm going to use it to stab you.
Thought that was going to be more dramatic. You just answered kind of calmly. All right. Not going to stab you.
So
is the movie over?
We're super close. So yeah, so he lets Abdullah go, and now everybody decides to be a Christian, and everybody just clamors to the front to get their Bibles. And he's handing out these little tiny, like, the Gideon Bibles, and they're like, give me one of them big Bibles like you got, preach, I can take it. And so he starts handing out all the giant, and everybody's like, oh my God. There's even the character named Israel's like, I'm in the Bible, y'all, every page. That's literally the line at the end of this movie. It's unbelievable. I so wish I was just making that up. And now, and that's it. Right now, all the kids are Christian. The movie can wrap up. We get a quick, bizarre little voiceover from Pat Boone.
Okay, here's the craziest moment of the whole movie. It's the very end.
Can I be the homeless guy? I want to be the homeless guy.
It's the very end, and Pat Boone's doing a voiceover, and he's like, yes, I changed everybody's mind, and they all became Christians. And now there's an adult homeless guy here, and he goes and he's like, they all became Christians, and I always knew that the... He just walks away from the normal homeless guy.
Exactly what happens.
He's just like, oh, I mean, you're not a teenager. Yeah. You're like the Neapolitan ice cream of humans. Scoop across.
I love how we're now suddenly involved in your fucking fights. When the hell did that? Where's Tom? When the hell did that happen, man? Come on. So that's it. That's all we get out of this movie. Now, Hollywood has obviously seen a number of infamous gangs throughout the many years. The Dead Rabbits, Dillinger's Gang, the Goonies, etc. So thank you. One for the Goonies. So to wrap things up tonight, I want you to think of the list of like the most intimidating gangs in cinematic history. And then I want you to tell me where the gangs from this movie would fall. What would come right before them and right after them, for example?
All right, I'm going to say A. Ryan Brotherhood. It's just a bunch... It's like a few people I know named Ryan. They're called A. Ryan Brotherhood.
So on that note, I'm going to go with like scarier than Stephen Baldwin in Loving the Bad Man. But less scary than the Newsies.
All right, well, on that note, we're going to bring episode 95 to a merciful close. Once again, a huge thanks to Eli Bosnick for helping out with the sound, Lucinda Lugeons and Razor Wax for helping out with all of the merch. Huge thanks to Morgan Clark, who's going to make this all sound good later. Huge thanks to the whole team here at the People's Improv Theater. And, of course, to all of you for coming out. You guys are awesome. And until next week, we'll leave you with the Breakfast Club close.
Somebody played this movie for a bag of stem cells, and they turned into Ted Nugent.
Okay, mine is serious. This is honest. The Muslim character was the only one completely beyond redemption.
There are 90 minutes of cut footage of Pat Boone saying the N-word.
All right. Thank you so much, folks. Thank you. And now, for your viewing enjoyment, Eli will perform a cartwheel. Really?
And he never did one again.
Or before.
The preceding podcast was a production of Puzzle and a Thunderstorm LLC, copyright 2017, all rights reserved.
Welcome to Mafia, a new podcast telling stories of America's criminal underworld.
Gotti assumed the position of head of the Gambino family.
And using the name Donnie Brasco, I was able to infiltrate the Bonanno crime family in New York City.
Bugsy Siegel is an American mob legend.
One man changed the whole texture and landscape of crime in America.
Listen to Mafia every Wednesday on Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your favorite shows.